So we are going to start today, that is the male reproductive system and its histology. First of all, the things that we need to know in this chapter are that the male reproductive system comprises of a pair of testes, then a system of the genital ducts, accessory sex glands, and a copulatory organ, that is the penis. Let's go towards the first thing, that is the testes. Let me zoom in a little bit. So these are the testes. The testes are actually the male gametes and they are going to produce the spermatozoa. So as we know, the testes are covered on the outside, on the exterior, by three layers. One is the tunica vaginalis that we studied in anatomy. Then beneath is this tunica albuginea, and below it is the tunica vasculosa. So now they are talking about the tunica albuginea. It is composed of dense and fibrous connective tissue. Also, it is white in color. Now, this tunica albuginea, on the posterior wall of the testes, it is going to form the mediastinum testes, and this mediastinum will give in the septa, which is known as the septular testes, which will pierce the tunica vasculosa and form 250 to 350 pyramidal compartments or the testicular lobules. Let me show you this via the diagram. So here is the diagram. The diagram shows the outer covering, which is the dense fibrous connective tissue, which is known as the tunica albuginea, and this tunica albuginea on the posterior side is forming this thickness, which is known as the mediastinum testes. And now this mediastinum testes is going to give in these white things. These are known as the septular testi, and these septular testi, what are they going to do? They are going to split this hole into a number of lobules, which are 250 to 350 lobule, and each lobule will contain these coiled seminiferous tubules, right? So we have tunica albuginea, thick fibrous connective tissue, which is going to on the posterior side to form the mediastinum testes. They are going to give the septular testi. The septular testi, they are going to form a number of lobules, and the lobules will have this coiled thing called the seminiferous tubules. Now they're talking about the tunica vasculosa, which is actually a layer of loose connective tissue, and it contains a large number of the blood vessels. Now the seminiferous tubules, which are present in each lobule, they are 1 to 4, and they have a blunt end as well as a posterior end, which is having the straight tubules. Let me show you this. So they are having a blunt end over here and a posterior straight end, which is going to give the straight tubules, and the straight tubules will then form the reti testi. So now I'm going to share the whole thing over here. Now, as we know that these are seminiferous tubules which are located in these lobules. The seminiferous tubule, they can be 1 to 4. But these seminiferous tubules which are present in these lobules, they are going to have an 50 centimeter length and 0.2 micrometers in diameter, and they have an inner epithelium, which is shown in this diagram. So let us come to this diagram, which is a very well explained diagram. It shows this region, this dark purpley staining region, which is actually the basement membrane. On the basement membrane, we have certain cuboidal shaped cells which are stacked over each other. And what do we call stacked cuboidal cells? These are stratified cuboidal cells. These stratified cuboidal cells of the testes, they are modified. So on the basement membrane of the seminiferous tubule lie the modified stratified cuboidal epithelium and also some Sertoli cells. Now on the back side of this is the intertubular connective tissue. The intertubular connective tissue is rich in blood vessels, and attached with the with the basement membrane, we have some smooth muscles which are actually the peritubular myoid cells. And what do the smooth muscles are going to do? They are going to push, or they are going to provide a contracting force to push these developing spermatogonial cells to the lumen, and then they will be pushed into the straight tubules, then from the straight tubules all the way up to the spermatic cord. So this was the main idea behind them. The basement membrane, over the basement membrane there are stratified cuboidal epithelium. Beneath the basement membrane we have the peritubular myoid cells. Surrounding the basement membrane we have intertubular connective tissue. Now they are saying that these seminiferous tubule have this stratified layer of the cuboidal cells, Along with that, they are going to have the spermatogonial cells, which are in their stages of spermatogenesis, which I'm going to show you via another diagram. So here comes a nice diagram of spermatogenesis. In the spermatogenesis, we see that we have type A spermatogonia. The type A spermatogonia have their nuclei which are present near the cell membrane. Then the type A spermatogonia are of two types, the dark type and the pale type. The dark type will have their nucleolus closer to their cell membrane, whereas the pale type will have their nucleolus closer to the cell envelope. Now these dark type, they are going to differentiate into pale type or dark type. Sometimes these dark type are going to differentiate into the pale type or the dark type themselves. That is the process of mitosis. Then the pale type of the spermatogonium, they are going to be converted either into the type B spermatogonia, or either they are going to replenish their own population. Then the type B spermatogonium, which are still the diploid ones, they are going to be converted via the mitosis into the primary spermatocyte. It is still diploid over here. Then the primary spermatocytes will be converted via the process of meiosis 1 into secondary spermatocytes, as we can see. And the secondary spermatocytes will then be converted by the process of meiosis 2 into the spermatozoa. And the spermatozoa, now they are haploid in nature, and they are going to be converted into the spermatozoon or the mature sperms. This whole process is going to happen within the testes. So I'm going to show you the histological diagram of this whole process. So let's have a look at this diagram, which is the spermatogenesis histological diagram. So now in this diagram, we can see that this is the basement membrane, this is the myoid cell, as you can see, the purple one, this is the intertubular connective tissue, and then we have the different forms of the spermatogonium. So first of all, we have the type A, then the type B. This is the type B spermatogonium. The type B spermatogonium is then converted into the primary spermatocyte. The primary is then converted into secondary spermatocyte. The secondary spermatocyte then give rise to the spermatozoa, which are 4 in number, and the spermatozoa are then converted into the mature sperms. So this is the whole process. The primary spermatocytes over here, the secondary spermatocytes are over here, the spermatids are over here, and this is the spermatozoa or the mature sperms. Now they will go to the lumen, and from the lumen, due to the presence of the myoid cell, which are going to give a force to push them to the lumen, and then from the lumen towards the whole pathway, the straight tubules, the retetestes, and all that thing. Now let's have a look at this diagram. This diagram is actually showing the two Sertoli cells. Now these Sertoli cells are having a base which is attached to the basement membrane and an oval nucleus which is located near the basal region. Then they are going to have the lateral portions. The lateral portions are having this corrugated endings. Then they are going to have this luminal surface. Now, very important thing about their lateral portion is that they have this cytoplasmic processes over here. These processes are joined to each other by zonula occludens or occluding junctions. Now, these occluding junctions, they are going to separate this region of the cells into two layers. One is the diploid layer and other is the haploid layer. This diploid layer, what is it going to do? It is having the two end cells. They are going to be the type A spermatogonia, dark and pale, the type B spermatogonium, and undividing primary spermatocytes. Then this region is going to have the secondary spermatocytes and the spermatids. As you can see, the secondary spermatocytes and the spermatids. Now you can also label this as the basal compartment and this as the adluminal compartment. The basal compartment has premeiotic germ cells, which are the spermatogonia, the primary spermatocytes, whereas the adluminal compartment is going to have the haploid cell or the meiotic developing germ cells, and the meiotic developing germ cells are secondary spermatocytes and spermatids. Now this spermatid is developing into a whole spermatozoon in the same region. As you know, this was the blood capillaries which are present in the intertubular connective tissue. Now we are going to talk about the main functions of these fertilized cells. We know that they are going to provide them with nutrition. They are going to also maintain a blood testis barrier, and they are also going to maintain some other things which are going to be a secretory function and a phagocytic function. Let's go to the blood testis barrier. So in the book they are saying that the blood testis barrier is present because of the occluding junctions, the tight junctions that are present between the cytoplasmic processes of neighboring fertilized cells, and these are going to have this one particular barrier. Now the first function of the fertilized cell is the support and nutrition of the developing germ cells. Let me explain that to you. As you know, these fertilized cells over here, and they are going to maintain this blood testis barrier over here, this occluding junction. Now on this region we have the cells which are directly in contact with the blood. So these are being provided by the nutrition and oxygen by the blood capillaries themselves. But these cells which are occluded or which are separated by the blood testis barrier, they are going to be provided with nutrition by the fertilized cells. The fertilized cells, they are going to absorb the oxygen and nutrient from there. Then through their cytoplasm, they are going to transport the oxygen and nutrients over to these adluminal compartment cells. So first function is the supporting and the nutrition function. Coming to the second function, that is protection. Now, as you know that the blood contains certain blood-borne chemicals, and these blood-borne chemicals or toxins, they can go and they can disrupt the formation of these spermatozoons. So the blood-borne toxins are prevented to go above by this junction. Similarly, we have certain antigenic substances which are going to help in the proliferation or development of these cells, and these, if they are going to go into the blood cell, they are going to cause an autoimmune reaction. So these antigenic substances are stopped from moving by this junction. These are antigenic substances, and from here blood-borne chemicals are being stopped. So this is one proper protection function. Then we have the phagocytic function. As you know that the sperm is going to have a little bit amount of cytoplasm and more amount of the nucleic material. So the cytoplasm that is going to be shed, this cytoplasm will then be absorbed by the cytoplasmic cells in the form of residual bodies, and then it will be broken down by their lysosomes. Then we have another function which is the secretory function. So as we know that there are the GnRH, which is the gonadotrophic releasing hormone, and it comes from the hypothalamus. This GnRH comes to the from the hypothalamus. It goes to the anterior pituitary hormone, and in anterior pituitary hormone it causes the production of follicle stimulating hormone. Now this follicle stimulating hormone is going to come to the fertilized cells and will cause the fertilized cell to secrete testosterone. One function is this. Secondly, under the effect of the follicle stimulating hormone, the fertilized cells are going to secrete the androgenic protein. As you can see, the GnRH will cause the GnRH from hypothalamus will cause the production of FSH, and this FSH is going to cause the fertilized cells to produce the androgen binding protein. This androgen binding protein is going to concentrate the testosterone. Second one thing that they are going to produce is the fertilized cells they are going to produce is inhibin. The inhibin will inhibit excess amount of follicle stimulating hormone production, which will actually regulate the whole process of spermatogenesis. The third thing that they are going to produce is this fetal life hormone, which is the Mullerian inhibiting hormone. This Mullerian inhibiting substance is going to inhibit or suppress the paramesonephric duct or the Mullerian ducts in the male fetus during the 9th and 10th week of the intrauterine life. So these were the four functions of the fertilized cell. One was the phagocytic function, other was the secretory, another one was the support and nutrition function, and another was the protection barrier. This is the blood testis barrier. In the next video, we are going to go to the spermatozoon and the intertubular connective tissue and all that histology. But before we end, let's go to this diagram, which is a very nice explanation. And after understanding each and everything, I think you can understand this photograph. So this photograph is showing a seminiferous tubule. This dark region is going to be its basement membrane. This region is having the peritubular myoid cell. These myoid cells, they are attached to the basement membrane, and on the inside of the basement membrane we are going to have the stratified modified cuboidal epithelium. Then we are going to have certain Sertoli cells which are going to have their nucleus closer to the basement membrane, right? And after the Sertoli cell, these are the spermatogonia in their developing stages. This is the lumen, and this region, this whole surrounding region, is the intertubular connective tissue, which is going to be filled with the blood vessels. So this is how we understand the histology of the the seminiferous tubules. I hope you understood each and everything from my video. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to explain each and everything in the next video. Please stay tuned.